I had nothing to do with one battle after another, but I'm happy to talk to you all about it. I'm Deborah Birnbaum. I'm the editor-in-chief of Gold Derby, and I am so excited to talk to you all about it. I was sitting over there, and it's the second time I've seen it, and I still can't stop smiling. How good was it, right? I kept joking. I've never sat through a 3-hour movie and been ready to sit for another 3 hours, right? Okay, no, don't disagree with me. All right, fine. Anyway, I guess but better to do a Q&A than sit through another 3 hours, so let's bring them back out. How about casting director Cassandra Kulukundis? And we know her and love her as Deandra. She can rescue me anytime. Regina Hall. Well, hello, ladies.
Hello.
I love that this movie, has so much testosterone, but we've got so many women on the stage, so here's for female power. Let's do that.
Ooh,
right?
Yes.
Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction. It was safe space. We got a safe space, right? All right, so I'd love to know your paths to this film. Obviously, you've worked with Paul Thomas Anderson before. So how did you first meet Paul?
I was an intern, actually, in a casting office. It was in between school stuff. It was a summer, and he walked in one day and said, "You're new," and I was like, "You're rude," and that was it. He went back there, and the next thing I knew, I was being called in to join into the conversation, and then I found out who he was. And he hadn't really done a movie. This was before Hard Eight, so there it was.
That's amazing.
And he just stole me, and I've been sort of, in the PTA farm since.
It seems to have worked out for you.
Sure. I knew he was going to become. I mean, I guess he sort of did, but this is amazing. Truly, that 10 movies, and there's a thing called the cult of PTA or something, which I'm a.
You're a cult member?
I guess so. Yeah, I had no idea.
I think it's official.
Yeah.
We've all been indoctrinated now.
Cult leader, sure.
And Regina, how did you join the cult?
I joined in, I want to say 2017. I met Paul at a film festival for Support the Girls. It was South by Southwest, and it was, we were both on a panel. That's actually where we met. It was at a panel, and he was Phantom Thread. I love Phantom Thread. He was there with Phantom Thread. I think he was going to interview Richard Linklater.
Rick to his friends.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then how did you both first hear about One Battle? Regina?
When did you?
Well, obviously, I heard about it way after this one, because she knows everything. He came over, and must have been the summertime, and said, I have a project, and that I'd like you to be a part of it. But it took him 2 months to mention it again and bring the script, so I thought he changed his mind. I remember I was like, damn, do I ask him again? Or is that thirsty? Or do I just, then if he's changed his mind, do I just let it go? And then I think eventually he came and he had a script.
And was Deandra the part he always had in mind for you?
Yes, no, he said it was Deandra from the beginning. Yeah, I think, and I'll let Cassandra speak to this. I think he's pretty clear by the time he comes to talent, right?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We've had a couple of, but for the most part, yes. We try not to involve the talent until his involvement in the talent until we 100% know what we're doing.
And what was your response to the role?
To the description?
The script of playing Deandra.
I mean, I was excited to work with Paul. It's not like you don't, the thing with Paul is you don't know what he's going to make. I mean, Punch Drunk, The Master, you don't know, so you'll never know how you could fit into a film. So when he described, I saw that many black people. I was like, well, Jesus, Paul, what you making? What you making out here, Paul? And I was very intrigued by the world. But I think for me, Paul's writing on the page is one thing, and then when he elevates that to film, to camera, it's completely different. So I was probably most excited about the process. And then his way of working is definitely unique, not in terms of engagement, but just the process of, I do remember, Cassandra could say this, I was like, well, what studio? He's like, haven't chosen yet. And I was like, oh, I was never used to someone who was able to do that much before it got to, it usually goes in a certain direction, and his direction was a little bit different. But, you know, of course I was saying yes.
Yeah, of course. And Cassandra, when did One Battle first land on your desk?
Ages, way too soon. I already was thinking about it and working on it way before I should have.
When Chase
probably.
was born, probably.
I mean, seriously, Chase was so not right by the first time I started reading people. She was a child, like for real. But you know, I think that's part of it, and I don't mind having the time. And sometimes we go right away, sometimes we don't. I always say that Paul Thomas Anderson's like a train, and it's at the station. And if you like leave the station, the train might go without you. So you kind of have to just stay at the station and see. But like, it was, I like working in a slow pace. I like kind of getting more information, finding people, getting the lay of the land, and then knowing exactly what we're doing and then diving in. Because once we go, we're speedy. But you know, before we get there, we're kind of like trying things out, you know, finding our way. And I think that's good. I think it works because then we have a really good idea of where we've been and what we're doing, so the whole works, I think. And that's why this movie itself, after 10 times, I think we got it right. Like, for real.
I mean, what an impressive ensemble. How do you even begin to approach when you've got an ensemble like that? Where do you start?
You start with number one and you just work it down. Because I think that's the problem. Like, I think if you kind of try to do everything at once, it won't be cohesive, for me anyways. I like to just, you know, and I've said this ad nauseum, but like, it's like a quilt. And I think you make one patch and then you know what the next patch is gonna look like or what you need in the surrounding patches, and you work your way out till it's done. So that's how I find it works.
I just want to say, though, Cassandra does such an incredible job because, you know, but it's true, because she also has to cast when Paul wants a non-actor.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's going door to door like a Jehovah's Witness sometimes, you know, grabbing people. I mean, but you can't, but the way she does cast, between she and Paul together as a team, it's so seamless that you can't tell, oh, this person doesn't. And if you do, it doesn't bother you. It feels so, I think that's what they do when they create these worlds. And so, I mean, just the fact that you do that is, you know, it's kind of insane to me.
Yeah, no, every once in a while I think about it, I'm like, wow, like I got through that one. Because you also don't know what you're gonna find. You know, you're sitting there hoping that the townspeople, A, wanna join in, and B, you know, don't stare at the camera, and they like just freeze when it happens. But the trick too is some of the roles we don't know which we're gonna do. So I'm also reading actors, got names back up for asking for cameos, and then seeing what I can find on the streets. And then we make the decision about what's going on around it. So it keeps it really exciting. You know, you're on a tightrope. Casting tightrope.
You have to be harassed.
We have casting emergencies. Like, all of a sudden, he's just like, I need more immigrants. And so I'm running around the streets of El Paso, like, profiling almost, like I don't mean to be, but I'm like, hey, hi, where are you from? Like, how's it going? Like, where are you know, and then accents, I'm like, yes, and like, you know, just saying hi to people or asking directions, and then I, you know, doing whatever I can to, you know, I always say if you're, you know, like I said before, you guys watch it, if you're a living, breathing creature, you might end up in a movie if I see you coming. My mechanic was in a movie, in one of our movies. Like, everything is on the table.
Yeah. We had a real professor in the movie.
Two. I mean, because hello, our Christmas adventure.
Let's talk about that casting.
Apartment here.
Two.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive casting.
Yeah. I was just saying backstage, like, I see this movie now with an audience like yourself, like 30 times, and I love every single one on that screen. Like, there's nobody that I'm like, oh, I don't feel any regret or remorse. Like, I'm like, you're all genius, and they all deserve awards for being so present and real.
It's an incredible ensemble. So, Regina, for you, how did you approach the role? Did you have to do any training?
Yeah, you know, we did. I did. You don't. There's certain scenes that aren't in there, but yeah, we did. Yeah.
Lots of action.
Lots of actions. But yeah, action. I shot.
It wasn't just like holding your ear.
No, and I couldn't close my eyes. No, there was a lot of weapons training, that's what they call it.
There should have been calisthenics for you guys, I think. A little like wake up, jog, everyone together, you know.
You know,
get in shape for the running?
I was like, Paul, I'm going to be a senior citizen soon. This is a step away from like elderly abuse, because then there were certain scenes we had a lot of running in. And you have to do it until you get the take right, because there are a lot of things that are going on. So definitely, you know, there was being in shape, and then of course, again, the weapons training. So.
But also, there's also such an emotional part of your performance. So much is on your face too,
yeah.
and I'm not saying
That's Regina. That's all Regina.
I mean,
She's
your
got
face just says
soul.
so much.
I mean, you're deep. You go. I mean, honestly, I think of you as like another like kind of godmother to the world. Like if somebody needs advice, Regina. If you know, you need a shoulder cry on, Regina. Like you're just so giving and sharing, and it's all emotionally available. And I think everyone knows you as comedy, and I know they're probably freaking out over a scary movie coming out. But no, there's a depth of just unbelievable soulfulness from you. And I think you're the heart of the movie. And so many people are like, she's going to jail, right? In the end, they took her to jail. I'm like, sure.
Everyone asked me, did Deandra rat? And I'm like, did you guys? She didn't rat.
No, she was saying no, she didn't know. She didn't actually know. You didn't know there was nothing to rat on.
I did.
And in fact, I kept wondering, why doesn't she just say, he should show up here? Like, if we just wait. And then he's shooting 10 seconds later. Sorry, debunked.
No, but I think it's an interesting point. Like, I think your role is one of the hardest because you're one of the few through lines through the first half to the second half. Characters change or divert or disappear, and you're just the emotional core, the quiet strength that takes us through. Someone should give you a Spotlight Award.
Maybe scared.
Well, real, but that's also an allegory for who you are. You've been here for a while, but you still feel completely fresh and ready to go to the fight. Run if you have to, and that's a talent. And now show everyone this side, which apparently is new to some people. I knew it was there. I mean, I was going through old lists just for fun of Paul's movies, and you were on lists from back to 1999. I mean, just didn't. When it happens, it happens. The timing is the timing. But I have lists. I was like, there's no list of people who just then became famous. I was like, oh, now we'll never get her. Like she was on the list like back then. So, yeah. Oh yeah, of course. You just wake up 2017.
I will say this: how many of you all? This is just a question, and I'm going to stop. How many of you all are act, and then are you all? No, none.
We got a couple answer.
You do. So do you go on? Do you ever get to? Do you audition yet?
Well, they have a casting program here for anyone who's a student.
And you all get to do it in person, though, right? It's so nice. It's so nice to do it in person.
Well, I mean, that's why if you have to send a tape, I'm one of those freaks that's like, here's my phone number, call me if you have a question or whatever. Because if you're going to make a tape, I also offer the virtual and in the room if I'm where you are. Like, I try to give it dealer's choice.
Yeah. I only say that because if you ever have opportunities, like, you get helped so much from your casting director.
I mean, director is in the title, so they should be directing you.
Yeah, she directed our photo shoots backstage, by the way. Yes, she did.
I can't help myself. Give me that title, and I will direct you.
She does it. So, since there are students here, what advice do you have for them, when they come out for auditions?
Well, I think obviously if you can get in the room. It's really tough for you guys who are living on the virtual Snapchats and whatever, the things. I don't want to sound like old, but all that is just, no. If you can get in the room, I think it's invaluable. I also think you learn bad habits by watching yourself make these tapes and do 36 takes, because when you're on a set, you're not going to get 36 takes, and when you're in a casting room, you're not going to get that. So you just need to just be ready when you're ready. And then, as I said, be 100% ready, know where you were, the character, where you're going, where you were, and then the moment somebody gives you direction, you drop it and you just go the other way. You've got to be changeable and ready to go. So I feel like that's the thing, because you might have a nothing reader, and you might have somebody who's engaging with you. You've got to be ready for both. Just prep, and then drop it at a moment's notice. It's hard, but that's my best advice.
And Regina, what advice do you have for students?
You're not going to get I remember my teacher said to think of myself not as a professional actor, but as a professional auditioner. And then whatever component of what, the process is, it takes a while. It can take a while. Everybody's journey is unique. You might be with somebody and it happens overnight. and you might be like 15 years in the making or 2 decades, and it's okay. Just keep working, keep always be, aim to be as good as you can be, so that whenever you get your opportunity, you're ready. And I think it is a skill set that keeps growing, but I just think if it just, like she said, being prepared, anytime you get a chance to do it in front of people, have fun, like do theater, do men, the women, you all can strip. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Although I don't know nowadays, you might twerk upon a roll, but really, just making sure that you're studying to always just, improve and get better and better, so that when you do have someone like Cassandra who's rolling down the street talking about, do you need this, that is the person that'll give you that opportunity, so that you can, have that moment and keep building your career.
What challenges have you faced in your career, and how have you overcome them?
I think every career has a challenge. You know what I mean? Mine aren't really particularly unique. You struggle to work and get your first job, and then after you do your first job and you get your second job, and then after that job, if you do it well, then you struggle to not be typecast in that. But it's not really a struggle. I think it's just a process. I think you have to look at it as it's a long game. So if you think of it as just like, I got a chance to work again, you work with great people, you learn. It seems basic, but know your lines. So back and forth that if you needed to, if one movement changed, you wouldn't be thrown. And then, she's not here, but I probably couldn't have done it, but for Chase at 23, or whatever she was, young, to be able to be thrown in that kind of position, I don't think at 23 I would have been able to handle it as well, which is why I say you have to learn in your own time and observe. I think the biggest way to learn, too, is to watch what people are doing. I always like to people watch, and that's on set or at home. Well, no, I guess at home it's just me.
That's why it's tough with a self-tape.
It's tough. But yeah.
Yeah, I would also say that you have to find what works for you.
For you,
so you want to have the experience and be comfortable, like, in your set and where you are and, the marks and what have you. But, like, sometimes directors are like, we're not going to use those. So you need to know where you are, what your body is, what's happening, and always relate to whoever is in your scene, whatever your scene partner is. You just want to be listening and then reacting. And it sounds so simple, but it really is not, because a lot of people look like they're waiting for their turn to talk. That's not what this is. We might talk over each other, especially if you want to keep it real, and that's what it is.
Like a real conversation.
Yeah.
And only you can be you. I will say that. Don't compare yourself. You can only be you. It takes a long time to really appreciate what you as an individual have to offer. I hate when it's not subject-verb agreement. It's like a peeve of mine. I don't know why. But only you can be you, and that may not be right for a part, but it doesn't mean that you weren't great at it. You lose, right?
That's a trick. If you're great at doing what you came in to do, they're going to find another role for you in that same thing. They'll call you in again. You just have to the waiting. As soon as we call rap, you're unemployed. That's just how that works. And you're wondering if you'll ever work again. And so just know that's part of the process as well.
I'm going to be unemployed in 1 more month.
There you go. I am unemployed right now. So it's like,
it is. It's
perpetual.
perpetual.
I'll never work again. Thank you for
I have faith in both of you. I think you'll be okay.
You don't know.
You know what? It's a weird thing. It never goes away. You never get to a point, I wonder, does Meryl Streep think she's...
Well, no, but Frances Foreman won an Academy Award, and she got up on that stage to win her Academy Award, and she goes, hi, I don't have a job right now. Feel free to call me tomorrow. Like, she was already thinking about it holding an Academy Award. So I'm just saying, Fran McDormand's worried.
It's something that you kind of, it's not, you're never like, oh, I'm just going to work. You always are like, you think I'm going to work again? I mean, I think it's the inherent part of the journey of an actor.
Sure.
Or whatever, in entertainment, directors, casting. I think we all, because we live a big portion of our life in between a job. You think Leo doesn't think that, does he?
He doesn't want to work. He's all like, make me work, I dare you.
True.
I'm glad you brought up Chase, because I did want to ask about casting her. How did you find Chase? Was that the hardest role to cast in one battle?
It was definitely the longest and was most important. I mean, every role, believe it or not, is somewhat challenging because you want to get the exact right tone. I mean, even the Christmas Adventurers, like, it's a tough one, and I read a lot more people than I would have ever thought, but it's like you had to get this group, and it had to be seamless. So Chase, for sure, that's a given, and that was my first. So while I'm doing, looking for that, I'm also trying to, get ready for all the others. But she was just, it was her movement. Her look and her movement grabbed my eye first. And then I was like, I can definitely teach her martial arts because there was way more fighting. We cannot stress this enough. It was way more action-packed. And so then I was like, she's good, she's ready. She taught kickboxing during school, amazing. And then she did a tape. And I didn't have to say anything about the tape. The tape was actually really, really good. It was exactly what I wanted. And so I was like, let me just see what we're going to do. And so I think she also had to wait about 2 months until I called her. And then I was like, okay, we're going to go forward. This is what's going to happen. But she was like a revelation because she is so smart and wise beyond her years, but at the same time so innocent and new. And that was exactly what the character needed to be. She kind of needed to be this innocent teenager's like, whatever, Dad. And then shit goes down and she's got to be ready to roll in the tutu. And she like, she did, she was. But in the beginning, I mean, the first read, she was very quiet, very polite. Then in the screen thing, same thing. She was like, she just surprised everyone because she was so quiet. And I was just like, always like trying to get the tiger within so Paul could also see that she could kill a man without blinking. And then she did. She killed a man and then she seemed fine by the end of the movie, right? For a murderer? Yeah. She compartmentalized, like that guy was bad. The end. I'm gonna go save some more people. So yeah, I mean she's a star. Star is born, as I keep saying it, and I mean I love her to death. And she's so special. So I'm glad the universe put her in my path.
I mean, it's an incredible position for her to be in, up against such a talented ensemble. Regina, what was it like working with her on set?
Oh, she was amazing. It's like it's hard to believe it was her first film. Mm-hmm. I mean, she showed up prepared. She showed up also, you come prepared, but then you also have to come, in a sense, unprepared because things can change and we might take it in a different direction. So it's like you have to be available.
You could get new lines,
right?
Right. We're so fresh. You can change the scene in 10 seconds right before you're about to go on camera.
Changes lines. You might change where you're going to shoot it. It could just be something compelling. It could be on your feet. It could totally change the emotion. There's things that I thought would go. I may have read it one way, and by the time we shoot it, it's like, no, it's this way. And so it's kind of, and she had that kind of preparedness and the but openness, I should say. And she was also just a lovely person. She just was a lovely human being to work with. She's delightful, and she has such an innocence, but also she's an old soul. So it's like there's a brightness, but she was pretty great. I mean, it's hard, like for Cassandra, I remember when the announcements were coming out for this movie, and I remember thinking, people must be like, what is he making? I mean, the cast that just kept coming together was like, I don't know how they could all fit in the same movie. Like nothing.
It didn't make sense.
When they announced Benicio, because he got announced so much later, people already thought we were in trouble shooting and stuff. So they're like, oh, they're in trouble. You need to bring in a ringer. And I was like, he was always attached to this movie. We actually stopped filming for him. Mm-hmm. So like, thanks for getting it wrong. But to go back to Chase and all of the few actors in this room, a stillness. Like young people are way more fidgety and movie and whatever. Like, look at me, I'm fidgety. She also has this serenity And so there's so much reading in her eyes and her face, and as she does that, the camera sees it and loves it. And that you can't really train. I'm going to put it in your head, plant the seeds, but it's like, that's a comfortability, that's a confidence that will show on the camera, and then you kind of want to sort of have that, just, because unless you're playing an uncomfortable character like me and you're fidgeting, that's fine, but most people are not that uncomfortable in their lives. They're doing what they're doing. And she had that already, yeah. I mean, we can just put the camera on her and you just stare and you put anything that you're thinking onto her, and that's a gift of an actor.
That's the bigger thing too, is when you're thinking, when something is going on internally, it reads. So it's always good to have stuff that is going on internally, whatever that might be. I think it reads. But but for a character, obviously you're creating that. But
yeah, and you don't be thinking about what you're thinking. Think about what your character is thinking, what your character needs in this moment. They're listening to what you're saying, and then you have something to add to that. That's how it kind of.
Well,
exactly.
the film is tricky because it's got a lot of tones to it, and it's like the comedy only plays with an audience, with everyone sitting here laughing, and that's why it's so important to see things on a big screen, right?
I mean, the community is so important, because
Yes.
I see sometimes people are afraid to laugh. They're like, isn't this a serious movie? Isn't it up for Academy Awards? And I will just bust out laughing, and then all of a sudden I'll set off all these...
Seaman Demon, I couldn't stop.
I mean, you can't.
He said he was raped in reverse. Like, even when you read it, but there's something about reading something and then seeing someone say it out loud with the straightest face.
Yes.
It's just so good. But I mean, that's writers. Are there any writers in here?
Oh, wow.
Woo!
That makes sense.
Directors? Woo! Look, everybody's gonna hire me. Look at all these jobs. All these jobs.
Wait, and casting. Who's in the casting here?
Woo!
There you go,
See? But I mean, I think that's the thing, and as you say that, that's what's so amazing about what Paul does is, there used to be this idea that you did a genre, but you can mix so many things, so many elements, right? Because that's what life is.
100%. Like, you should, I mean, I don't know. I like things that are more real like that. You're crying one scene, you're laughing in another. Like, welcome to my day. That's...
And one of the best chase scenes ever.
Oh my goodness, that
Fantastic.
chase scene was so good. It was like it was 3D, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, no, I know
so
people
good.
who actually got car sick, like got the motion sickness.
I know,
I mean,
me
and
too.
now 70 millimeter IMAX, can you imagine? So good, so good. But that's the thing too, 2 hours and 40 minutes moves like that in this movie, and sometimes 90 minutes can feel terminal. Like, it's kind of a fascinating thing. So editors out there too, I hope you're, maybe you're...
editors?
I mean, this is truly one of the best
Editing
edited
is
films
so
ever.
important.
Just saying, so...
Wait, sound?
Andy, I'm going to call out Andy.
Because the sound in this,
And yep.
the score.
And score.
Oh, the music is ridiculous.
Music.
Okay, it's just brilliant.
It's just-
there we go.
it's just
We've
good.
done it, and we've said it.
All of it. Unfortunately, I'm getting the signal to wrap up, so I just want to, I could talk to you all forever. There's so much to talk about. So I just want to ask you to leave us with, what did you take away from the experience of making this film? What do you want audiences to take away from it?
Gosh, it was an incredible experience. I had never gotten, all directors are different, but an auteur director is very specific and unique. Because everyone they work with, present company included, they work to such a level of excellence, and so you're witnessing that. But it was also incredibly collaborative, and also, it's not like Paul didn't say, "Ooh, I didn't get that right, I want to shoot that again." There's still an element of discovery and there's a discovery in people who do things well. I think I want people to take away what they will. There's so many different things in this film. For some people, they will take away empowerment. For some people, they will take away the state of the world or the father-daughter relationship or the connections or the French 75. I like a film that causes people to talk and think. And I like that when we are exploring creativity in filmmaking. In this particular film, it's original. The characters are incredibly flawed and deeply lovable, the good and the bad, for whatever reason. And there's an artistry that especially for an audience like this, I love that we all get to share and aspire to. So I think, you know, I hope in some way that it's empowering, inspiring, and that as young people, I don't know, I hope it sparks something in you that is unimaginable, that is so incredibly, I mean, I don't know how to say it enough, but to say how important you all are. Like, you are really, really our future. No pressure, except... No, but you really are, and the arts and the creative arts and the humanity that exists within that space. So in rooms like this, and with all of you who resonate with this film, I don't know what to tell you to take away, but I hope you take away something that's empowering for what you need.
To add to that, what you can take away is like the honesty. Mm-hmm. Like, this movie is a movie and a film. I mean, it's got all the right elements, but it's also fun. And we are in weird times, as we know. No matter what you think, no matter where you believe, like, we're fractured. And there's nothing, like, there's no right or wrong. So at some point, if you're really honest and you're really doing truth and you're earnest with what you're doing, somebody will connect to it. You can't try to check a box. You can't try to say, okay, if we do all this, it's going to be hit. That's not a thing. If we hire this person, it's going to be hit. Nonsense. What's going to be the most important thing is a true, honest voice that you are really behind, and somebody else will be like, I had that thought. I felt that feeling. I mean, this is why, you know, Tim Robinson's hitting, you know, like, I watched that show last night, free in my hotel room. And I was like, I think all the things he thinks, but I'm not as awkward as that, I hope. But like, you know, like, I resonate with that. Like, I think that's the trick. If you're truly honest with the story that you're telling, and everyone who's there knows what they're doing and telling that true story, people will come. And when people come, you have made something that touches people. So I think that's a trick. Just don't try anything. Don't force anything. Let it be as real as humanly possible, right? Especially in these times. And if you've got your freak, have your freak flag fly. You know, like we're here for it. Like, we all got one. So don't be ashamed of it. Just you are an individual. So tell your story. Don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. And, you know, if you're an actor, we'll direct you. If you're an editor, you know, like, you're the one focusing the way. Each person is bringing their thing to the table. And as writers, don't hold back. Like, whatever you think is your deep, dark, dirty secret, somebody else thought it. So tell, you know, don't be alone. Don't hide in that room alone. Write it out there, and we'll all say, oh my God, and want to make your writing.
And then say your friend inspired you.
And then hire Regina in it.
Exactly.
All right.
The end.
Well, thanks to both of you. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you all.